Part 2 has just wrapped for the day. The alleged victim came into court and today she was cross-examined by Michael Ward's main lawyer. Pages and pages of brand new notes I have to go through, so please listen attentively to what I am saying. There were other friends also who were part of a group chat with her. Her name and other names I'm not going to list because I don't think it's appropriate. But the main lawyer, Michael Ward's lawyer, grilled her so badly. The alleged victim admitted that she Googled him before as the friends asked, who he was when they all decided to basically go to this party in the group chat because they wanted a New Year's Eve all-white party or something to basically do. She refutes knowing a lot about him and explains that she just quickly Googled, only not, really doing any research. The lawyers continued to grill her by asking questions and saying, well, don't you and your friends trade images of men that you basically date? The alleged victim doesn't even look at Michael throughout the cross-examination once. She just directly looks straight to the jurors in one pose where her arms are by her side and she wants to stand. She does not want to sit. And sometimes I see her hands shaking. She's, talks about how she was wearing white leggings and a crop top on the day of the event. She can't recall what time she arrived and she can't recall if she paid entry to the event as well. She says, I can't recall to a lot. She has no memory of the duration of the journey as well. And she does recall, however, where the car was parked when they all arrived. And Michael Ward's lawyer note that their car that was parked was close to where Michael Ward's car was parked as well when he arrived to the event. The lawyer is asking very probing questions, guys, very probing questions. Didn't you know it was him when you just met him? You were happy to chat to him? She says, yes. You quickly recognized him, didn't you? Was it flirty from the start? She says, few words. Then the lawyer says, not few words, it was a full conversation. And she says, not flirty. And the lawyer says, but why give your snap if it was not flirty? This is how it was going. It was very intense. The lawyer says, snap, you must have wanted him to contact you, Why give him details? She says, I simply can't say. Didn't he hug you all? She says, I can't recall. This is Michael Ward's lawyer. Then the Michael Ward's lawyer uses her own police statement, the alleged victim statement against her. You said flattered by him, clearly showing that you were flirting. Did you ever laugh at it? And then the alleged victim says no. And the lawyer says, pleasant atmosphere. She says no. Then the lawyer says no, like in a, taunting way. I was not flirty back, the alleged victim says. The lawyer says, you were flattered, no? So if you're flattered, surely you were flirting. She says, I can't recall words exchanged. You felt uncomfortable, so why not go home, says the lawyer. She wanted to be with friends. That was her response. The reality was that you were catching eyes with him throughout, wasn't it? Then, she says, I can't recall. The lawyer says, why did you message him if you were uncomfortable when you left the event? And then the lawyer continues, you're not answering, when she responds by saying anxiety. Lawyer hammers in, you're not answering, because why were you trying to meet him if you expressed that you were uncomfortable in the club? His car was close to her friend's car. Why tell him where your friend's car is parked? Why? Why, if you felt uncomfortable, to the alleged victim? She admits telling where her location would be. So the alleged victim admits saying, this is where the car is parked and etc. But why would you do that if you've already expressed that you were uncomfortable with him in the club? The lawyer continues, you wanted him to come find you, didn't you? His comment at the time was odd, the alleged victim responds, and weird. All the more reason to not go meet him, no? All the more reason to not go meet him, no? Then the alleged victim says, in your opinion, and the lawyer says, no, not in my opinion. The lawyer continues, why are you going to try go to a second party if you expressed that you were uncomfortable? Listen to this, the alleged victim says, he didn't have my phone number, but the lawyer snaps back, but he had your snap. And guess who started the conversation on Snapchat? It was you. You were waiting for him, weren't you? Crazy. The lawyer continues, you were waiting 20 minutes. That's a long time, no? You didn't even know him. You didn't know what mutual friend did because she was waiting in her car afterwards. And so the lawyer was like, well, why are you waiting for him? If you felt so uncomfortable, why didn't you just go home? Then the alleged victim says that she didn't know what the plans were from a friend in the car who was a mutual between the parties. And the lawyer was like, well, how can you not know what that mutual friend was doing? Because he was also in the car with you, with the other friends. If that makes sense. If it doesn't, I will clarify in another video. Her friend's car was parked right next to Michael's, the lawyer, quips. The lawyer continues, why would you want to go into a car with him? Because you just expressed that you were uncomfortable. So you were comfortable? and flirty comments were made. She responds, yes, I was happy to get in a car with him. She says, yes, now. And she doesn't recall asking for an address, but she does admit that I did find Michael Wards attractive. The judge intervenes. You said you did not flirt with him before, but now you said that you did. So even the judge is calling her out, saying that you initially started up testifying on the trial in front of the jurors to say that you did not flirt with him. But now, near the end, you saying that yes, the conversations were flirty. It makes the jurors question your story, because right in front of the jurors, you've literally basically been caught out. The lawyer jumps in. You've changed your account of flirtation right here in front of the jurors. Why did you deny it at first? She says, I don't recall words being used. Didn't you initially kiss him with your arms around him? She says, I can't recall. The lawyer says, but you were laughing when you left the first car. She admits that she was. They then basically talk about how they left the first car after the kiss or whatever, and that they were going to go to McDonald's to get some food and go home, but they couldn't go into McDonald's. So they went back to the flat, wherever the flat was, to basically use the toilets. As they were leaving, Michael Ward was arriving into this flat, and the lawyer was basically saying, well, this is a coincidence. Why didn't you stop at any service stations to go to the toilet if that's what you wanted to do? Why did you go back to the flat? Clearly you have ulterior motives, which is absolutely insane. The lawyer continues to say, you were driving to go meet Michael, weren't you? She says we weren't allowed at McDonald's. She then, rounds it up, the lawyer, and says, this alleged victim initiated contact on Snapchat, kept him informed, said that she wasn't flirtatious, but then, admitted that she was flirtatious, said that he was uncomfortable in that moment, but then went into the car with him. So why would you be uncomfortable, but then go into the car with him? Why would you then tell him where were you going to go? Why would you then wait 20 minutes outside? Crazy, guys. And this is now resuming Friday, and we might get a verdict next week. So the next 2 days are going to be off. This is a lot of information for me to give in a TikTok. I'm doing a full 30-minute breakdown on my channel, YouTube, Murad, where I discuss stuff like this later on tonight. I think that her answers of I don't recall, confusion with flirtation, confusion with 1 minute you were uncomfortable, then you were admitting that you were comfortable, then admitting that you did find him attractive, then you're giving him the location of where you're basically going to go, you admitting that you initiated contact on here, you're saying that it wasn't flirtatious initially, but then you also admitting that you gave your Snapchat to him. Why would you do that if it wasn't flirtatious? Like, she kept on, the lawyer kept trapping her in dead ends, and her saying I don't recall is not you getting out of it. The jurors seeing that, the judge even intervening and say, well, you said that you didn't flirt, but now you're admitting that you're flirting. Changing the story right like that in front of the jurors, it doesn't look good. However, she's going to present her side this Friday and then on Monday, and I'm just trying to give you guys verbatim, word for word, what happened in court today. But this was absolutely intense. This was a very long commute for me, guys, because I am from Streatham. That's where I'm born and raised. I'm a South Londoner. So to go from Streatham to Snaresbrook, my God today, what a commute. I will be doing a full 30-minute breakdown on YouTube so that you guys can know what's going on, and we will see what happens next.